How to Not Suck at Life, 89 Tips for Teens, Connor Boyack. We're moving on to number 2 and 3. I would say chapter, they're not really chapters. This is my first time reading it, so if I fumble or stumble over the words, that's my first time reading it. Get an apprenticeship or 5. I recently took my kids to a new ice cream store for a treat. We had never been to this place, and they had a wide range of options with clever nicknames and odd combinations of ingredients. I had a bit of a decision paralysis, quote unquote. I had so many options that I didn't know what to do, but I snapped out of it when one of the employees offered to give me a sample of anything I wanted. That sounds glorious. This was a super helpful offer since the flavor I thought I would like ended up being not that great. I sampled a few options and then made a smarter decision. I was happy with the outcome because I didn't waste my money on something I would regret. Hmm. Likewise, the world offers you many options for what you can spend your life doing. There are tens of thousands of types of jobs or more, and even crazier, most of the jobs that will be available in your adulthood don't even exist yet. That's mind-boggling, but we are on the cusp of things really changing. AI is going to change the world. Technology has a way of changing things. So before you commit your life to a particular path, do what I did at the ice cream shop. Sample the sections before making any big decisions. There are various ways to do this. One option is a formal apprenticeship where you can learn a particular trade or task under the guidance of an expert. You offered to work for free or are sometimes paid to learn on the job, much like an internship. The key difference being that an apprenticeship is longer in duration and typically involves more structure and mentorship. Or it can be even easier and informal, simply job shadow. People who work in professions that intrigue you, I don't know. I read that totally wrong. It can be informal, simply a job shadow. People who work in professions that intrigue you. Period. I don't know where I was going with that. Get your parents to help network and find people who are carpenters, lawyers, botanists, mechanics, whatever interests you. And then if you can follow them around, ask if you can follow them around for a few days and ask questions. So you're just going to like see what they do, ask questions, see if you enjoy it. You'll get a sneak peek into whether they enjoy their job and what it's actually like, and whether you want to commit a large portion of your life to it. Many people commit to large amounts of time and money to pursuing a career they end up not liking. Don't be like them. Sample the selection before deciding. That is really good stuff. That's, that's good stuff. Do one more. Ditch the ego. Newsflash, the world doesn't revolve around you. I remember others, mostly my parents, telling me this during my teen years, but as a teenager, it's sometimes hard to process this accusation because prideful people rarely think they're prideful. It's like the humble people. You know how humble they are? Just ask them. They focus on themselves and think that things ought to be done on their timeline the way they want. They don't focus on or care much about the preferences of others. They're unlikely to sacrifice their desires to instead do what someone else prefers. I don't want to sacrifice them. That's what I want to do. As the saying goes, there are two kinds of days for teenagers: good days and the days when things don't go their way. But this saying isn't written in stone, and it doesn't need to be a description of your behavior. To some extent, you're not to blame for this tendency. The rational part of the adolescent's brain, that is the prefrontal cortex, if you want to Google it, it's still developing, and your body is being bathed in hormones that create impulses and moods that are difficult to manage. And if you don't learn to manage them as a teenager, when you grow up, you're going to have to learn to manage them then. Otherwise, you will end up in prison or dead or worse. I don't know. I'm sure that's worse. But adults who've outgrown these pubescent phases still can be egocentric monsters. You'd be wise to try and restrain this behavior early on so you can become a helpful, positive person whom others want to be around and support. It'll be good for your personal and professional relationships. And an early effort now will pay dividends down the road. That's good stuff. Not a fan of the restaurant your parents picked? Don't complain and insist on going somewhere you like. Go along to get along. Prefer to watch a different movie than what others picked? Hold back your opinion and be willing to do what others decide. Resist the urge to speak your mind on every topic that's discussed or to vocalize what you think is stupid or wrong. It's not always about you. In short, be a decent person who cares about the opinions and the interests of those around you. And in the short and long term, you'll enjoy life and be happier. I'll tell you, people will like you more too. If you learn to be somebody who can get along with people, you're gonna be happier in your marriage. You're gonna be happier friends with your family. People are gonna like you more. It's like how to win friends and influence people. You just learn to not be a jerk, and life is better. It's gone on long enough. We will hit two more next time. Peace out. Love you, bud.